All right, today we are digging in to the incredible story of Joseph. A guy who really found out what it means to be living the dream right when his life was in an absolute pit. You know the phrase, right? We all do. It's what you say when your car breaks down, your boss dumps a huge project on you at 5 p.m., or it's just, one of those days. It's our code for when life feels like anything but a dream. Well, for this 17-year-old kid named Joseph, dreams were not some sarcastic joke. They were like actual messages from God about his future. And here's the crazy part. Sharing them sparked a jealousy so fiery, so intense, that it nearly cost him his life. And it didn't even start with a dream. It started with a coat.
Yeah, you'd think the dreams would be the thing that kicked this whole story off, but actually the trouble was already brewing. It all started with this coat. The family situation was, let's just say, a ticking time bomb. First off, it was no secret that Joseph was the favorite son. Second, he had a bit of a habit of running back to his dad with bad reports about his older brothers. And then, the final straw. His dad, Jacob, gives him this amazing, colorful tunic, a very, very public symbol of that favoritism.
And look, this wasn't just some nice piece of clothing. In their culture, this coat was basically a promotion. It was a neon sign flashing to his 10 older brothers. Hey guys, your little teenage brother? He's the new boss. I mean, you could imagine how that went down. So as if things weren't already tense enough, Joseph decides to pour a lot of gasoline on the fire by telling everyone about a couple of dreams he's been having. Okay, so dream number one is about earthly power. He sees his brother's bundles of grain bowing down to his. And their reaction is exactly what you'd expect. Wait, are you seriously saying you're going to rule over us? But he doesn't stop there. Dream number two kicks it up about 1,000 notches. Now it's the sun, the moon, and the stars bowing to him. This was huge. He's not just claiming authority over his brothers anymore. He's implying he'll have authority over his own mother and father too.
And you can literally track the hatred just building and building. The source text spells it out for us. First, they hated him because of the coat. Then, after that first dream, it says they hated him even more. And after the second dream, you guessed it, they hated him even more.
All of this simmering rage is about to just boil over. Jacob, their father, sends Joseph out to go check on his brothers, and he has absolutely no idea what kind of danger he's sending his favorite son into. So his brothers were supposed to be in one place, Shechem, but they'd moved 15 miles away to Dothan, probably just to get away from him. But it doesn't work. Joseph finds them. And the second they spot that colorful coat on the horizon, the conspiracy begins. They mockingly call him this dreamer, and they plot to kill him. They rip that coat off his back, throw him into a dry well, and then they decide to sell him into slavery. And what was the price they got for their brother's life? 20 shekels of silver. That's all he was worth to them. But the detail that just reveals the true, chilling coldness of their hearts is what they did right after. With their brother sitting in a dark pit just yards away, probably screaming, terrified for his life, what do? They sit down and have lunch. It's just staggering to think about. So let's just stop and put ourselves in Joseph's shoes for a minute. You've just been betrayed by your own flesh and blood, stripped of your identity, and sold to a bunch of strangers. Your entire world has just completely shattered. How in the world could this be the path to those incredible dreams God showed you? It feels like a sick joke, right? Being dragged in chains toward Egypt has got to be the furthest thing from ruling and reigning over anyone. You can just feel the whiplash, this huge, gaping canyon between the divine promise and this brutal new reality. He's been thrown away like garbage by the very same people he was told he would one day lead. None of it makes any sense. So how do we make sense of this kind of chaos? Well, the source material introduces this really powerful idea. It's called patchwork grace. It's this beautiful concept that maybe, just maybe, all these confusing, disjointed, and even agonizing pieces of our lives, the good, the bad, the ugly, are actually being stitched together by a master hand into one single purposeful garment that we just can't see yet.
And that leads us to this final thought, a thought that can kind of flip this entire story and maybe our own stories right on its head.
What if in those moments when it feels like everything is breaking down, when you're at the absolute bottom of the pit and you feel like all hope is gone, what if you're just looking at it the wrong way? What if your world isn't falling apart? It's falling into place. From the bottom of that dark pit, Joseph couldn't see it. He couldn't possibly know that this brutal betrayal was the very first step he had to take to fulfill his destiny and ultimately save his entire family. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Could the worst moments of our lives actually be the most important parts of the whole design?